But right now, we're in an interesting place, and that place, the main events that led us to this place took place in the last Atlantean period drama. In that drama, the script was written and programmed into the radio body. The script didn't finish running. It just started running in 22,326 BC, when the guardian races shut the gates, which means they pulled the plug on the computer so the program couldn't run. Well, the plug is back in now. Fortunately, it's on a D12 current. We have an upgrade as far as the current running, but the program is still in the grids. It's still in the radio body, and it's a program because we're all connected to the planetary radio body. Our own radio bodies exist as part of the planetary radio body. It means there's going to be a script that begins running through our own radio bodies, which runs through our DNA, which will be a script on a personal level of impulses, feelings, sometimes thoughts. We never stop to think, oh, I'm thinking, where did that thought come from? We assume it's ours. It's going to be a good time to become aware of the fact that not every thought that moves through your head belongs to you. Not every feeling that runs through your emotional body belongs to you. Did you ever stand next to somebody who is having like a real bad day and you can just feel the negative energy coming off them, right? And did you ever find that you went home and a couple hours later you're just feeling really yucky? You can't think of a reason why. You took on, through field resonance, some of the stuff that was standing next to you. You're processing through your own system. And the healers have a big problem with this sometimes if they don't know how to clear that out, because you will start to take on the scalar waveforms from other beings or things around you. Now, this can be done purposely as well, and this is how the script technology works. There's an interface with the human biosystem, with the Homo sapien biosystem, that allows the radio body programs that are being sent through Nibiru and through Wormwood from Wiesback to move through our systems, where it's almost like having an angel and devil on your shoulder, where you have one saying, oh, I really like the Azurite teachings, like I can feel the freedom there. The other saying, oh, no, that's evil. It's telling you not to like Archangel Michael. It's telling you not to like Jehovah. You know, I mean, it can create, if you let it, this polarity in yourself that's very, very hard to rectify until you start asking yourself the question, where did that thought come from? Do I own it? Is it mine? Or am I having help thinking that thought? If we can realize we get a whole lot more help than we ever thought, and it's scary when you think about it. This is like, it's like soul rape, what's being done here, not to mention mind rape, because you're literally having something put things in your mind. It's like one of those horrid sci-fi movies that, you know, they have a technology that will let them beam into your brain things that make you do what they want you to. They do have this technology, and it's being used here. It has been since Atlantis, but now is the final big hurrah in the game when they turn on all the switches and all the programs. Now, if you're working with D12 frequency, and particularly if you're working with the Vecca codes, you will progressively build an immunity to that, where you will progressively, you might start realizing that there's a weird space you can realize when you start to feel like, wow, it's like a CD is playing in my head. That's not mine. You'll start to find this whole cluster of ideas or thoughts, sometimes it's emotions, that, you know, where in the world does that fit? And they're usually yucky, or they're meant to direct you in a certain way, and they really seem like they belong to you until you really stop your consciousness, get calm, and say, what is this? Where is it coming from? Do I own it? And really realize you might not. All right? I mean, once you realize you don't own it, then you have to own it, which means you have to say, okay, I'm not going to blame anybody for this. What am I going to do with it? Because the idea is to stop it from influencing you. The antidote to the radio body programming, which I call the CD in your head, is that's really what it works like. It's a CD that's operated off something called the Metatronic seed atom, and these are clusters of literally those. You know how we talked about the eyes, the lenses, the refraction polarization lenses? Well, these were built into part of our atomic structure here through the Metatronic mutations. So we have within our bodies a Metatronic seed atom that is the disc player, and it's through that we receive information from the radio body program that's running through the planetary grids, and it literally plugs into our personal little disc player and begins to run the CD, and it's like a CD-ROM in your head. there is only one antidote to that. If you can recognize that it's there, you need to do that before you'll realize you need an antidote. But it's not something you can rationalize with or reason with. It's not a part of your natural, even shadow self, that you're going to say, okay, well, I'll embrace you with love and I'll heal you. You can look at it as an electronic program. It's not going to respond to you as a person because it isn't a person. It's a program. It's energy. And there's only one way to not have that energy move through your system, and that's use energy in the right way to block that from being able to affect your system. That's where running the D12 and higher frequency and the natural mathematics that go with the body pattern, the Vecca codes and the Eka codes, that's where they all come in. These are the things that will give us the most protection from the Metatronic atom program. And we're all living with this. This is our Gaian heritage, because it began with the fall of the Azurite races and the creation of races that had the Metatronic atom coding. And that's, if you want to look at the Metatronic atom, it's the seven spheres as opposed to the 15 spheres. You know, they talk about the seed of life and those kind of things, which is the seed of the flower of life, those kind of things. They are built on the seven, and they form a particular type of Merkaba field. They form the Bivecca Merkaba field, which is fine if you let it keep growing until its natural Trivecca Merkaba that it's supposed to. But it's a phase-locked Bivecca Merkaba that the bottom part of the bottom can't spin. This is part of what our Merkabas are doing right now. It's part of what the planetary Merkabas are doing right now, and it's part of what we're trying to overcome. What we've all been living is a shared mutation. That mutation was done, we have what's called the base 4 mutation, where we have 4 nucleotide bases that make up our base DNA. And this applies to plants and everything else on this planet. In the Atlantean period, between 25,500 BC and 9,558 BC, this mutation into an all-oneness, where we all wore the same faces so we couldn't tell each other apart anymore, that's when it was orchestrated. It was orchestrated for the purpose of meeting at this time, where you wouldn't be able to tell a human from a non-human. And we would all think, and we would all have our memories wiped to the point where we didn't know where we came from. We had different ideas that were fed to us from somewhere that ended up in books that, you know, became things that people killed each other over, that kind of thing. In the Atlantean period, there was a huge influx of both fallen angelic souls from the Phantom Matrix and from the Wisadek Matrix, where a huge number of the people on the planet right now weren't originally human to begin with. Right now, they're wearing the mask of a human body. What we call a human body right now is a mutation. This isn't what a human body looks like. A human body is much taller. It's much lighter in density. It's about, you know, 3 times less dense than what we are right now. It has abilities of all sorts of things, like levitation and appearing and disappearing, Merkaba. And all of us have different stellar coding. We have the same imprint as far as, you know, human, or some of us that aren't human. You know, some of us came from other places, and we really are, we're sharing the human mutation, or the Homo sapien mutation, let's say, but we're not even, you know, human. Some of us are other types of guardian races that we're working with, the guardians of this time matrix. That there's Syrians here, there's Lyrans here, there's all sorts of beings here that might not have even come fully through the Orifeme imprint, but they were able to pick it up in Atlantis because it was a free-for-all in Atlantis with the genetic stuff they were doing. So that can be used to advantage as well. It'll be interesting as we progress in our personal development, because we'll find out who and what we are. I have nothing against the people, neither do the founders, that are into Archangel Michael, that are into Enoch, that are into the Bible, that are into this, that, and the other thing. Because at this point, all of the dogmas have been positioned since Atlantis to serve one of 2 agendas, neither of them the Christos agenda. There are 2 things happening, and there's a final conflict battle brewing. And it's not between the founders' races or the guardians' races. It's between the races of Phantom Matrix, who do not want to be assimilated, and the races of the Wisadek Matrix, the Metatronic Matrix, who want to assimilate them and us. Right now, there's a battle being staged. It was a battle that was really scripted out in Atlantis, we've caused them a bit of concern ever since we got the D12 anchored here, because now they're not going to be able to just do a smooth sweep through and take the whole matrix down.